Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how I set up my solar panel system on my sailboat. What I teach in this video can also be used on any boat, RV, or house. So yeah, at the end of this video I'll show you my 24 volt system here at my house, and then my boat is actually a 12 volt system, both using the same charge controller and the techniques that I've learned here at the house. So yeah, if you want to learn more about that, that's coming up next. So today we're working on the solar panels right here behind me. I've already got one mounted. I mounted it yesterday. Not quite the right size, as you can see here. But what I'm using here is that 85 watt, about 5 amps. So I'm going to be mounting 2 of them, which will be about 160 to 170 watts. About 10 amps, which is just temporary for now. I've also mounted it temporary. This guy had these self-tappers in here, so I kind of just did that because I didn't want to add new holes, but the proper way to mount that will be with some 1/4 stainless steel bolts. But I'm probably going to replace these with the right size panel eventually anyway, so all right now it's temporary. Here's the other panel. I'm going to go ahead and stick that up there. So, let's see how this goes. Here I'm just splicing these wires together. I would use a solid one, but this is like the only spare piece I've found so far. But I know there's going to be more of these once I sort out the wiring. So later on I'll rewire this and remount it. And then we'll just run this wire over to the other wires over there. Let's see if that reaches. I'll just go inside and show you the inside part. So right now what I've got going on is I got the solar panels hooked up, and they're bringing power to this wire right here. So I've got amperage coming in from 2 solar panels up top, which is, I was at 12.5 earlier, I'm about 13.2 right now, about midday. So they're bringing in power, but the problem is, without the charge controller, it'll bring in too much power. So you can run solar panels directly into the batteries, but what's going to happen is that voltage is going to end up getting up to 14 and 15 and day after day, and then it's going to get so high that it'll probably explode the battery and then cause a lot of problems. So that's why you put in your charge controller. Now with the Samlex, this is probably the 3rd one I've bought, 4th maybe. Bought one originally for my house. I think they're made for RVs. They're the Samlex Solar 30 amp model SCC 30 Alpha Bravo. Anyway, looks like this. They're good controllers. I got one on my house. They run 12 volt to 24 volt. Basically simple as it gets. You've got your panels coming in, PV, positive and negative, and batteries. So those just go out to the batteries, and then over here it tells you what your settings are. 12 volt, 24 volt, it's all in the back, and you can remote a remote option there. But what I'm going to do next is wire in this. So basically what I'm going to do is take this wire you see here, which is coming from the panels, and I'm going to extend it over to here, because I'm eventually going to probably mount this somewhere like on this side, because as you see there's no more room left over there, and I don't want to put stuff here, so I'll be building a wall here one day, or then maybe down here. I don't know really where it's going to go, but I'm going to extend this wire that I found somewhere in here. And I'm going to extend it, and we're going to replace that now. So let me show you what I got going on. So yeah, here's that wire I got. This I pulled off something else that was in the bathroom that wasn't necessary, so it's a pretty good gauge wire. I'm not sure the exact gauge. 10 gauge wire. It's a good decent gauge. And that's what I got coming from the back. So I'm actually, and I've just got this clamped on with some clamps to the battery, bringing in power. But yeah, and these can go up to like, with the battery charger on it, I'm getting it up to like 14 volts, and it's fine. It's not going to explode just because it's over 12 volts. So yeah, I've been dealing with the same thing at my other house for 4 years. I've got the same setup, except I've got what you'll want to use for battery wise is this is just a Continental battery, 1000 amp marine RV, because it was a 12 volt, pretty easy, lightweight to get on the boat. But anyway, this is just temporary. What you really want to use is the Trojan 6 volt batteries, and the price went up. They're about 140 a piece when I'm in New Mexico, so they're averaging about that for. They're basically golf cart batteries is what most people use them for, 6 volt Trojan. But yeah, you could do that. I got 4 of those in line for at my house with a 24 volt system, 6 12 volts, with 4 of them will equal 1 bank, and then you could add on from there. You could just keep adding on as many as you want. With the amount of panels I have, I could probably, with 3 panels, you'd probably only need 2 Trojan 6 volts with those 3 panels. And you should be able to run a decent system off that. You're not going to over amperage this thing. I'm only, I think, about at 10 amps what I've got with the 2 panels up there. This is a 30 amp, so plenty more room left on it. Anyway, back to this wiring job. So what we're going to do, let's see where this reaches. Enough to go down to the batteries. So we'll kind of even it out. And then, well, actually the battery is going to move at some point too, but for now I guess. So I don't know where the batteries are going to go in the future, so I want to make sure that we have enough room for the charge controller, which over here and there. Okay, anyway, let's cut it here. Then what you do is you'll get your cutters here, slice it down the center there, gently cut it around like this, so you don't slice into the other wire. Should tear it off. Get your Klein tools, made in USA. Actually, yeah, this is a, it works. Anyway, so I got that going to there, and then I'll do the same thing with this wire. Alright, so you can see here I've got the battery side hooked up, which is why we've got power here. But see, we've got 0 amps, 0 watts, 13.2. So it monitors your batteries, but there's no amperage coming in because the PV side is not hooked up to solar panels. So all we've got left to do, there's your positive and negative. This is the one that's coming in from right here. So we're gonna real quickly just disconnect those and then swap it over, ground. We need to upgrade to a red. I use these also because I make so many mistakes that it's just easier to run these that way instead of you're always crimping and cutting wires when. Alright, possible spark, let's see. See, there was the spark coming off. That's just because it's a lot of amperage. I don't know why people think you get shocked, but you don't get shocked from touching 12 volt. I'll show you in just a second, just because some people still may not believe me. I told someone that the other day and they wouldn't believe me, and then I showed them and they're like, nah. Yeah, you can't get shocked from it. Okay. And there we go. So we've got 7.9 amps coming in, 105 watts, and it's working. So whenever the batteries are fully charged, this thing will stop letting amperage in. And it might be to the point where it's already so charged that it's not letting amperage in. I don't know. There's settings back here that allow it to go to certain heights, so I've got to adjust them. So make sure to read those before you hook it up. So now really I don't need this inverter at the moment because it was just for it's actually just drawing power to be on. So really I'm going to disconnect that next. This is what I was charging with. Now in theory we should be getting enough power for the 12 volt side end, but we're still using shore power for a lot of things, like all my electronics. So anyway, that's pretty much how you wire up solar panels. Pretty easy. You just need your panels, one of these, and I've done a lot of research. This is a good one. So just, you can still do your research, but it's a decent price. So the price is about $160 to $170 depending on where you look. eBay or Amazon will have it. But it's worth it for getting the monitors, everything. You can tell everything that's going on. There's a lot you could do with it. I haven't even pushed all those buttons, but it does a lot more than that. So do your research on that. 6-volt Trojans are the best to go for batteries, and that's about it. Yeah, I had one last thing to add on the batteries thing. Okay, so I had one last thing to add as far as batteries go. This is what, I'm cheap on a lot of things, but one thing you don't want to be cheap on is batteries. I was cheap in the beginning and bought the Walmart 12 volt batteries, and they last about 6 months. You can take them back and get another one, and it lasts about 6 months, so they're just a waste. You really got to spend the money. You're spending already $100 plus for the Walmart one. Just spend a little bit more, get the 6-volt Trojan. 2 of those will outlast 4 of the Walmart batteries, probably even 8 of them. The Trojans are made to last 5-10 years, supposedly. I'm going on probably 3 years on mine. I don't even mess with them, but you're always screwing around with the cheap batteries, so one thing you don't be cheap on is batteries. So, I mean, this Continental's not bad. It'll work. It's better than a Walmart battery. I've been buying all my batteries from Continental. They're all over the place, but they're decent battery. And also Continental is the one that sells the Trojan batteries. So if you look up Continental, they'll be selling the Trojan batteries more than likely in your local area. So go with the Trojans or Continental and just do it right the first time. Same with the charge controller. You can buy these cheap Chinese ones, but they're not going to outperform this one. I mean, more than likely it's made in China, but it was made right. Well, now it's made in Taiwan, so there you go. Made in Taiwan. Sound like solar charge controller. Trojan or Continentals for the beginning. And that's about it for this one. Okay, so here we are back at my house. I wanted to show you my setup at the house just because it's a little different, a little more organized, and you can kind of see the setup a little better, maybe understand a little more. So what I've got here is it's a 2500 watt Ames inverter. It's a modified sine wave, and I was going to say if I had to do it again I'd probably go with a pure sine wave, probably a lower wattage like 1500 watts. The 2500 is overkill, it doesn't ever get used, and pure sine wave is a little better technology, so if you could afford it, go with that. If not, these work good. You don't even need the, like I said, the 2500 watts. It's overkill. And so, what else I've got here? These are my Trojan batteries. 4 of them. They're a 24 volt bank here, and this is also a 12 volt. This is a 24 volt bank, and these are two 12 volt 24 banks. So you can do it in any different way you want. I've got 6 4 volt Trojans here, and then the 12 volts and the 12 volts. So anyway, they're all different banks, but it all equals 24 volts. Just depending on how you wire it, but you can look up the diagrams really easy online. So probably get a zoom in over here of what's going on. And over here we've got my battery chargers. This is the one I use for the 12 volt. I use this one for the 24 volt. It's a really good battery charger. This is one of the best ones I've found. Die Hard always makes good stuff. I used to use this one which ran off 220 and went off the generator, but at some point it broke, so that's just kind of sitting there. This is what I use to switch over from the generator to the inverter. So it's a 3-pole breaker, so all you got to do is pull this, swap it over here. After you shut off, well, what usually I do is I shut off the off switch, shut that off, swap that over, and then you can run it on generator side, and then the generator will also run all the 110 side, which is up there. And here's some of the things I installed. Right back here is for the wind generator. This is very important, a breaker. This is a 30 amp breaker here. I put that in line after several failures, blown inverters. I fried a few of those, making mistakes. So yeah, on off switch here, breaker in here, and then, well, because there's not a built-in breaker in this one, which is not a good idea. I fried about, this is actually my 4th one. I kept making mistakes on the positive side over here, not having things like this in line and things like this. You always want, you just run one wire the wrong way on the 110 side and you'll fry everything. So always make sure, yeah, you've got all these type of breakers in line. This was something I bought, but it broke. It was a Coleman. I bought it on eBay. It worked good, but I made a mistake and fried something on the inside. This is also charge control. I don't know how they could get it into that, but this is the one I fried. I don't know what I did wrong, but I screwed that up a long time ago. So yeah, that's pretty much my setup here. Just wanted to show you 2 different versions of Samlex running a 12 volt and 24 volt system. So I've had good luck with it. Alright, see you next time. Alright everyone, well that's it for this video. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I want to give a special thanks to all my subscribers, old ones and new ones. Finally getting to a lot of people starting to find my channel, so that's good. I'm also learning a lot more about YouTube. I'm actually heading tomorrow to VidCon in California. It's basically a YouTube convention where I'll learn a lot more about how to make better videos and maybe run into some people, and who knows what will happen there, but it's only going to make my channel better, so yeah, stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show